Had to check and make sure that's still recording. By the time I edit it together, that won't look very long, but the camera's been running for about 7 or 8 minutes now. So I'm on a piece of property. Was owned by my grandfather, who passed away in the mid-1970s. I'm obviously not that old, and again, maybe not too obviously some days. I look a little older, I guess. Doing some cleanup, and me and my brothers have been passed this property by our father, and we haven't been able to maintain it properly because we don't have the right equipment over the years. A few years ago, my grandmother used the survivor benefits money from when my grandfather passed away as a World War II veteran to re-dredge a pond, and I'll pan the camera around here in a couple minutes and show some of that, but we don't have a mower big enough to mow the place. Now at home I have a 1955 Farmall Cub lowboy. It's the first year of the lowboy. I happened upon it and got it for a song. It's in barn rough condition, but it fires right up, runs well. Touch control on it works most of the time when it hasn't leaked all the hydraulic fluid into the oil pan. So I want to find a sickle mower so we can maintain the majority of the property ourselves. Ultimately, we'd like to contract with somebody to come in and they can take the clover and grass, cut and bale, and keep the majority of the money for themselves because we don't have anywhere to store it to sell it ourselves. So really the trade-off is they mow for us and they can keep the hay. We've had problems finding anybody with time to do that and interest in the last couple years. So I've devised a scheme, it's probably the best way to put it, to come in and salvage as much steel out of this old collapsed pole barn as I can. One brother wants to save all the flat sheet metal I'll pan to in a minute. The tin made up the siding on the pole barn. So we're going to try and stack as much of that up as we can. And then everything else we're going to stack up and haul to the junkyard. And if we can scrap enough steel, I think we can get enough money to buy that sickle mower. There's actually an old semi-trailer that's rotting away. I mean, there's probably enough steel in that alone if we can get it loaded to get everything we need. What is interesting to me and what I really enjoy about this is I'm on a piece of property cleared, improved upon by my grandfather in the 60s and 70s, passed along to my dad. I grew up playing over here, probably one weekend a month, come over and see Grandma, run around like I own the place, and now I'm a partial owner in the property. I'm working with my hands the same way Granddad did, finding projects that he left in various states of disrepair, using the chainsaw with no safety Sally mechanisms or anything on it that'll make some people cringe, that my father used to heat our house with the whole time I was a child. And he took a lot of firewood off of the same piece of property using that saw. So it's exciting to me to have all those connections and see all those things, and it's difficult for me to scrap a lot of this steel because I know it had a purpose at some point in time, though I may not know what it was. These iron wheels are probably going to get taken home and used for some project. This is a tractor pull sled, a small scale tractor pull sled. It appears that all the pieces are here for it, though it's rusted and seized up. I would venture to guess that with the right amount of oil and time, some tires and some new chains, this will function just as it did when it was last used. So I just wanted to share a little bit of this place and the history that I'm finding, though beat up and rusty and torn apart and things that I still can't figure out. I've got no clue what this thing was. Some kind of drag of some kind, but the additional chains and pieces hooked to it are slightly confusing. So, but I'll pan the camera around and may talk a little bit more while I'm doing that, and hopefully I haven't rambled so much that you've lost interest, and when I edit this together, hopefully it becomes something kind of neat to look at. So I'm gonna grab that camera and spin it and show you a little bit of the place. Like I said, it's an old fallen down pole barn. And there we've got the remaining wall that's still standing, and here's what was once a west wall, but I can peel almost all that siding off and probably salvage it. And there's a lot more in there that needs to be dug out. And the property goes over and say it's a tree line over that way. You can see my hay wagon and truck there for stacking the steel on. And out there's our pond. I'm seeing some beaver damage this year. The 220 body grips will come out. We'll see if we can't rectify that problem. That tree line off in the distance is about the halfway point of the property. It's fairly narrow, but it's several hundred meters deep from here to the other end. And that drops off into a little lower land, another swamp type area. It's great for frogs, great for mosquitoes, that we've done some deer hunting on over the years. And when we pan around, there's not much left over here. On the other side of that berm is a river, and my pond drains into that river, and sometimes the river backs up and we get some flooding issues. That's why it's not really suitable as a build site for much of anything. You can actually see here, the last time the water level was way up, it washed into this site where this pole barn used to be. So it doesn't look like much to anybody else, but to me, it's an awful special place. I hope you guys have got places that you've got connections to that are just as important to you as this place is to me. I'm glad I can get out here and work. I'm glad I can spend some time. I can work with my hands. I can find things and try and figure out what was going on with them back then and what I can use them for now, instead of just letting them go to junk. But the fact is, there's a lot here that's just crumpled and crinkled and going to go to junk. But some of this will get salvaged, some of it will get used, and we'll make something out of it. Maybe I'll bring you along for some of that when I get there. But thanks for taking time out of your day to see what I've got going on, and hopefully I can make some more videos and put some things together and share some more of the things I'm doing with you guys. Thanks a lot, and hopefully you're having some fun too.